Me talking about the Steelers because I'm just a youngster, but he's a journalist. He's our sports director, 93.7 The Fan and News Radio 1020 KDK. He's Jeff Hathorn. So, do we have a chance against Tom Brady?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm a Yinzer, too. You could be journalist Yinzer and then all in the same. And, yeah, I do think they do have a chance against the Patriots, a good chance against the Patriots on Sunday. And there's a couple of reasons for that. One, the Steelers have been in playoff mode since November. And in that respect, it reminds me back of that run in 2004 where they were able to run their way all the way to the Super Bowl in Detroit. So I think the Steelers have some of that momentum going for them. And I also think that New England's never faced this Steeler offense fully healthy. And I think they're going to be able to do some things. I know the Patriots have been good against the run this year, but I do think the Steelers are going to find a way to score some points. They're going to need to because the Patriots are going to make some big plays too.
All right, now look, one of the amazing statistics with Le'Veon Bell on this run that he has been on and coming off of a 170-yard performance last week, they've not given up a 100-yard rushing performance all year. Are they that good defensively?
They're very gap sound, and the players will tell you that. They're very big on telling you that in the locker room. Listen, that they're exactly what you would expect. They're in their lanes. They don't take chances. They don't beat themselves. So you're going to have to beat them. And I think the Steelers are one of the teams that has the type of weapons that can do it. You'd love to have Ladarius Green. He's officially questionable, which is, I guess, a brighter thought than we all would have said 24 hours ago. Probably won't play. But look what Jesse James did against Kansas City. 5 catches for 83 yards. I do think they have an opportunity. Of course, the biggest thing for them is slowing down number 12.
All right, now, you don't have Rob Gronkowski, obviously, but you do have Julian Edelman, you have Danny Amendola, you have Dion Lewis, the kid out of Pitt, and you have LeGarrette Blount, the big bruising back that the Steelers spent some time with a while back. Of all those players, is there anybody there that kind of makes you go, you better be careful, or maybe someone I missed?
Yes.
Okay. That's a fair answer.
I mean, Dion Lewis is coming off 3 touchdowns 3 different ways.
Right.
LeGarrette Blount ran for 127 and 2 scores in the first game against the Steelers. And then you have the receivers that Brady is like Ben Roethlisberger in that he can find the open guy. He doesn't have to zero in on one guy. He can spread it around. They can do a whole bunch of different things. To me, defensively, the key is how do they bounce back when they allow that big play? Is that going to destroy them? Are they going to get conservative? How are they going to react when they get burned for a big play? Because it'll happen. And that's what I want to see from this team. They've done it well, obviously, during this entire stretch they've on, this 9-game winning streak. But when the pressure's on, AFC title game at New England, and that happens, how do they react? And I don't think we know the answer to that yet. Jeff
Hathorn, Sports Director, 93.7 The Fan, News Radio 1020 KDK. Just a couple of other quick things. You know, Joe Dentisi, I was doing some commercials earlier today at Coons Market. Everybody's talking about the game, and there's always these comparisons. And I've often thought about Brady, a 6th-round pick out of Michigan. Who can I compare him to? I mean, as far as his physical build, how he plays the game, quick release. And Joe Dentisi out of the Clear Blue said Joe Montana. Now, I know Joe Ringgold, and of course, went to Notre Dame, a lot of pageantry there. Mr. DeBartolo, of course, the 49ers, all those Super Bowl rings. But if you look at the two, they're not physically imposing, but they have that quick release. They're not very fleet of foot. They're not fast, but there really are some similarities. And the bottom line is they just know how to win.
Well, that's the biggest similarity of all. I think there are some differences in how they approach the game, and their release is a little bit different, but they both are able to move around in the pocket. They both are able to make plays. I think Montana did have a better Hall of Fame receiver for a long time than what Tom Brady has had in the past. But Brady's had some good receivers as well. And Gronkowski is arguably one of the best tight ends ever. Now, obviously won't be in this game. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think there are some comparisons. But the biggest one is both knew how to win.
All right, speaking of know how to win, Aaron Rodgers has been doing that for a while since taking over for Brett Favre a few years ago. And Matt Ryan has found a way to win on a consistent basis. And right now, again, here it is, the cliche of the week, arguably the league's MVP. The early game, 3:05, Packers and Atlanta at the Georgia Dome. How do you see it?
Well, which one is the MVP? I mean, Matt Ryan's had a great year for Atlanta. They have Julio Jones, Jordy Nelson, likely out for Green Bay. We'll see when the game rolls around. I just think sooner or later that's going to catch up to the Packers. Rodgers is great, and he pulled a Houdini and just an outright sick pass that he threw on the sideline to get them into field goal range. And Mason Crosby, was just money for them. But I think Atlanta's just too good. I like their defense. I think their defense is much better than what Green Bay brings. And I think Matt Ryan's going to have a day. I think Atlanta wins. And that hurts me to say that because I am a Green Bay owner.
Who are you?
I am.
My goodness, there's money in cheese, isn't there? Anyway, listen.
Well, a lot of people are. It's not that special.
What is your favorite cheese, by the way?
Got to go with the sharp cheddar. How about you?
Swiss. More holes, extra flavor, ladies and gentlemen. At least that's what Isley says. Anyway, listen, we're done. But what are you guys doing on 93.7 The Fan? I know this weekend I'll have sports every half hour beginning at 5:15, and we'll preview the Steelers. We'll preview it every single sportscast throughout the weekend. Then, of course, the big 2 hours with Greg Dillis and Bob Dvorak and Ted Arnaud on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show.
Basically, starting Sunday at 8, we'll be live. All the way up till 6 o'clock. Then we take Westwood 1 coverage on the Fan of the game. We will have the game on the Fan this Sunday, and then after the game we'll have post-game, and I'll be up in New England in the locker room, hopefully a victorious locker room, and I know KDAM will have the NFC Championship game at 3, so we've got you covered right here.
Let me just say one thing, and we're closing on this note. Westwood One Radio, I love listening to them. I love listening to football on the radio. They do a spectacular job, and when you think of all of the competition covering this great game, I think a lot of people who haven't tuned in should. They're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, their announcers are solid. Announcer to announcer. I mean, the guys they have calling these games, really good.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of really good, he is Jeff Hathorn. Every 20 minutes this afternoon, 93.7 The Fan, and on the KDK Afternoon News with Robert Mangino on News Radio 1020. KDK, good afternoon.